Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is Sunday night, and it is time for everyone's 90 to 120 minutes of shenanigans and modeling and painting and whatever else we decide to do. This is your Sunday night answer to boredom. This is Painting with Menoth John. Take a deep breath. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of sanity has found its way back to the Painting with Menoth John dojo. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the pipes, the co-host with the most, Mr. John Spencer. Say hello to the Brushheads.
Hey, Brushheads. I heard it got too serious when I was gone, so I'm back to make it a little crazy again.
Oh, God, yeah. You know, we brought Zosha on because she's a pip, and she's worth her tiny little weight in gold. But, you know, it's good to have the bearded one back. And I'm telling you, John, it was a lot of fun to have her on the show, but it's good to have – it's like slipping your feet into that pair of slippers. You know, you got a nice pair of slippers, much like Fred Rogers would do at the beginning of every episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my co-host? This is great. Well –
It was a good podcast last week. I heard it. It was good stuff.
Yeah, you know what? Zosha really did a fantastic job. I was really pleased with how things turned out. I think that one of the best parts about the show is that, and one of the things I really wanted to get at with the show was I wanted to get after maybe some of the perceptions and stereotypes that might exist out there. And Zosha really did a nice job blowing a lot of those things up. And I think it's a real credit to the War Machine community that you know, folks just kind of come to play games, and they're there to what kind of plumbing they've got, we're going to bring it and have a good old time. So I want to once again thank Zosha very much for sitting in the co-host chair. Some mighty large shoes to fill there, but I think she comported herself quite well.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Kind of weird not hearing me on the cast, but I got through it.
And then lightning struck again, and somehow I ended up on Lost Hemisphere Radio for the first time in years.
I'll have to check that out. I don't actually follow them that much anymore, but
yeah, I ended up doing. G'day Bloke got a hold of me a couple days ago to do a spot on Tristan Durant. They were doing a section on all the new juniors.
yeah, I saw that. He advertised that. I was thinking about checking that one out anyways, but I definitely will now.
Yep. Get on there, talk a little tech about Immortal Tristan and what jacks are good with it. And it was kind of fun hooking up with Mr. G'day Bloke again after all these years. So I'd encourage the Brushheads to go out there and check it out. It's the latest episode of Lost Hemisphere Radio out there. So before we get too far into the program here, though, what are we having this evening, Mr. John?
Well, I, as usual, have a shot of Kraken, and I have some, black cherry whiskey mixed with Dr. Pepper.
Nice. God, that sounds like a smooth drink. I'm going to tell you what.
It's pretty good.
I don't have any Kraken today, but I do have. I'm trying to kill this damn Roaring Dan's, this maple-infused BS that I'm drinking. But I'm going to drink it out of the Painting with Menoth John shot glass, so that makes it all better.
Super stylish.
Yeah, it's super. So here's to all you Brushheads, and especially to Zosha, and to the co-host who's back in the seat. Hey, Ron!
Ron!
Oh, that's some good stuff. And then I'm going to be drinking some absinthe. I'm going to be having... I got a little absinthe here to kind of keep me going. That's some good stuff. Got to find a homey place to put it here on the painting table so that I don't accidentally dip my my painting brush in it at any time during the course of the show. I want to also give a couple announcements that we've got here, John. We have I will be at Gen Con for Saturday and Saturday only, a limited time appearance. They could only afford to bring me in for that one day. It's a small convention. They don't pay that well. And so I thought that I'd be there on Saturday. And for all of you who forgot your shot glasses at my house, I know that a lot of you have forgotten them here because I've got quite a few. And I'll be able to deliver those to you. But just keep in mind that while you were here, you owe me $8. So make sure, and I can take credit cards. So, don't worry about bringing money. If you're from overseas and you're at Gen Con, just give me that plastic. Them rubles and them denarii or whatever you got, they spend plenty good on the plastic. So at $8, I don't know if that's like 454,000 pesos or something, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So before we get too crazy and before I have too much absinthe, I thought I probably ought to do a little bit of a word from our sponsor. John, we have a sponsorship now.
I heard.
Yep, I sold my soul. I had it. It felt a little rough coming out, but at Discount Games Incorporated, losing your soul feels a little bit better.
Well, it's the only place I buy stuff from online.
Yes, absolutely. They have some of the best customer service. When Scott Ray is sober, you can count on your stuff being packed properly at Discount Games Incorporated.
And luckily, he's sober most of the time.
Most of the time when he's working. Most of the time. So, I in all seriousness, Brushheads, Discount Games Incorporated, if you can't find it at your local game store, remember, we are very much supportive of your local game stores here at Painting with Menoth, John. We encourage you to get out there and buy stuff from them because they're providing you a place to play. But if you can't find that hard-to-find piece, or if they're not able to get it in a timely manner, Discount Games Incorporated, they buy a lot of stuff, and I've been to that store. Inventory is a thing that they have. Let me tell you what. So
yeah, and they carry a lot of the off games too. The one maybe your side game, they carry a lot of that.
They sure
maybe not in stock all the time, but they've got a huge selection of stuff plus some bases. They're carrying secret weapon bases now. I noticed.
Yep, I mean I saw they just started carrying the Relic Knights, the mythical Relic Knights, and
more on that later.
And they have a lot. They have Infinity. They have all kinds of good stuff. So get on over there to discountgamesincorporated.com. Do not be fooled. It is not the eBay store. That's some other clown we don't endorse, nor do they
don't
sponsor
endorse that guy at all.
No, he's a jerk, and he gives the words discount games a bad name. He's a gravy trainer. So there you go. I think I've probably defamed him properly enough now. We'll see if the C&D comes in from him anytime soon. I never got one from Privateer, so I doubt I'm going to get one from him. So
if so, we'll deal with that.
So, are you going to be doing any modeling or painting today, John? Or are you just going to take it easy and kind of roll with the punches?
I'll take it easy. I've got some Relic Knights, speaking of Relic Knights, to finish cleaning. Oh, my Lord. If I get the chance.
I'm going to roll over to the painting cam here, and I'm going to try and get a little bit of painting done while we're talking here. But sounds to me like you might have a little bit of... are they a little bit hard to clean up?
A little bit. They've got some mold lines at hard-to-reach places. Nothing really, really horrible, but it is occasionally unfortunate.
Anything as bad as putting the mold line across the face of a warder?
Well, the one special edition model I have, which is Gabe from Penny Arcade.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a mold line right down the center of his face.
Well,
he's got that patented hair thing, so you got to get it over the hair, then get under the hair, and get. Oh my Lord!
I've seen Gabe, and he actually has in real life a mold line across his face. So it's it's actually
realistic.
Much more,
then never mind.
Very realistic. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll get some pictures of those up when I get them, assembled. No, I'm working slowly. I've got some bases coming in for the other faction. I'm working on the pirates right now.
Nice.
Gonna get some playing in. We're also gonna get some Malifaux playing in, so you might hear few and far between on the War Machine battle reports for a little bit.
No, that's cool. I'd like to hear more about Malifaux. I think that from what I've heard, second edition is less stupid than the first edition. So
yeah, they just didn't introduce it the right way. I've still got like half my models that I can't use because they only have playtest rules, and I know they're official playtest rules, but damn it, I want the actual physical cards in front of me. Until I have the real printed actual cards in front of me, they're not legit.
Well, I don't think that's too much to ask. I mean, I think that
No.
to want to play with the actual rules for a model should not be something that you should have to squawk about too much.
Yeah, and honestly, changing editions is tough on everyone. I figure they did it just about as well as everyone,
Yep.
so it's all good. They should have that stuff coming out in Gen Con, actually, if their normal release schedules hold.
Nice. Well, I hope they do because more healthy miniature wargaming equals more awesome for everybody. So, we do talk an awful lot about privateer press products here on this show, but we are an equal opportunity hobby type podcast thingy, and we've developed a very deep relationship based on alcohol with the Krug. So we want to make sure that we're also supporting the Infinities, and we're talking about some of the other games as well. So, and we love to, and we have an upcoming Brushhead gallery today, John.
Yeah, I've
And
heard a lot of people sending stuff to you.
oh, yeah, 16 pages of it. So, and some of it is Infinity. So I'm very excited about sharing that Infinity stuff with the Brushheads tonight.
Awesome.
Well, you went to a tournament. You went to the ATC this
Yep,
last
which
year.
is
And go ahead.
it's a combo. It started off as 40K, and then they added fantasy, and then this is the second year for having War Machine.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they didn't get quite the same turnout as did the first year. There were actually only 6 teams.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, and
Yeah.
Hacksaw is the organizer there, the fellow that manages and fosters the old steamroller format. So there was only 6 teams. So did you guys play a round robin, or how did you handle that?
Well, we were going to play a round robin, but mistakes were made.
Okay.
So it ended up being some sort of robin. We played 3 rounds on day 1. Then they cut to the top 2 teams, and those teams got to play day 2.
Okay. That's kind of weird, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were all ready. We had some lists ready for day 2. I actually had a 35-point Connie B list ready for the day 2 game if I didn't get to play in the finals.
Nice.
And the guy had Paul had some circle ready, or Bowie.
Yep.
On the chat room, and then Banyan was actually going to switch with non-Brushhead Dave.
Non-Brushhead Dave?
Yeah, he doesn't listen to the podcast because it makes his head explode whenever you call me the co-host with the moho host.
Well, then
like,
I guess
say that out loud at work when we work together.
Yeah.
He gives me the death glare, and it's hilarious.
Well, I tell you what, that's not going to change anytime soon. So
yeah, well, he's an interesting guy.
There we go.
But they were going to switch factions and Legion for Cricks, but spoiler, that didn't happen. So we get paired up round 1 against team Lock and Load.
Okay.
From Alabama.
Okay.
And I got to play their team captain because for some reason, being the one who's been playing the game the least amount of time, I'm the team captain. Don't know how this works, and I'm playing mercenaries. This entire math seems wrong. He had Gorshade 3 and one of the scars. I want to say it's Scar 2.
Really? Okay. Did she lock you down, or did she give you all kinds of armor?
I don't remember. He played Gorshade 3, and I played Gordon. I'll give you some notes. He had both cavalry and a Kraken. That was the majority of his list.
Ah, Kraken.
And a small unit of Banes. You know what the Kraken doesn't like?
Anything that has Weapon Master, I'll tell you what.
Well, didn't have many of those in that list, but I did harm him, and then Harlan Verse decided to take offense and buzzsaw half of him off, which he did just about.
He had an upkeep on him, huh?
Yeah, he had Infernal Machine.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And then the Earthbreaker decided, with my 5 random number of shots and 2 other shots, I'm just going to blow the rest of you off. So that was a 1-turn remove a Kraken.
That's a sad Kraken right there.
Yes. And he went into the tank a little bit for his next turn, but did some great maneuvers, managed to clear the zone of some hard-to-hit stuff. Basically blew his feet to make Iana and one other person stationary just to get them out of the zone because they're hard to kill.
Wow.
Did that, managed, despite horrific die rolls, to kill the objective, and he towed in the zone, got 3 control points in 1 turn.
Wow.
And then I drug him forward, Eris shot him, removing occultation, and the Earthbreaker killed him to death.
And that was that.
That was that. Bowie he was playing Darius and Striker 2, was matched up against Corey, who's their Kador player with Sorsha 2 and Butcher 2. Butcher 2, of course, all the Doom Reavers.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he made some mistakes and lost, but Banian, taking a 3rd seed against their Ret player, just dropped down some Gatsby 3 with those crazy Black Lane's Ghost Raiders.
Okay.
There's a memory going for you. And he didn't have an answer for him, so he won that game. So, boom, 1-0. I'm happy.
There you go. Sounds good.
Round 2, we play against Team Cheat Commandos, who we played last year also.
Oh, snap. A Homestar Runner reference.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And I was matched up initially against Eddie again, who's their team captain. This year he wasn't playing Mercenaries. He was playing Convergence of Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to look at his list because Banian in the third seat looks over and goes, "John, Menoth! Menoth!" I'm like, "What? It's Menoth!" I'm like, "Oh, for love of..." He looks at the Convergence. He's like, "Look, the Promised Land." I'm like, fine. We roll off. I get the team feat. I team feat and switch us. So I play the Menoth player.
Okay.
He's got Sevi 1 and Resnick.
Okay. So he dropped
I was 100% certain he was dropping Resnick. He can't drop Sevi 1 against the Earthbreaker. It's bad news bears.
I suppose was it a kill box scenario?
I don't believe so, but it still would have been bad news bears. I mean,
okay.
Because if I get within 17 inches of him, I can charge Gorton forward, drag him and his shields forward, and boom, 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 and we're done here.
Fair enough.
I feel Resnick was the best drop and the right drop because my other cast, remember, is Durgan.
Okay.
And Durgan's like armor 14 caster.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's dropping. Yeah, okay, now that makes sense. Yeah, he's dropping.
Yeah.
He's dropping Resnick for sure.
Yeah, and that guy was, I don't remember his name. Noah was his name. And his Resnick list had a lot of beef. It was the theme list.
Okay.
He had 3 Reckoners and a Vanquisher and a Shield Guard, no Spelly Jack.
A Devout.
Devout, that's the one.
Okay, so that's an interesting way to go with it. He had 2 units of cleansers in there?
Units of cleansers and some support.
Okay.
It was dicey early, but on turn 2, he ran his guys balls out forward. So I have Gorton charge Harlan Versh. This time, unlike the video of me playing, I remember to take my attack, and he missed, leaving Harlan Versh alive. Thumbs up for justice. And I drug the Vanquisher and a Reckoner forward.
Yep.
I put a wall down, stopping the second Reckoner from being able to get to my Earthbreaker, who wandered forward and punched the one Reckoner to death, while Snapjaw and unit of Eliminators ate the Vanquisher.
Yep.
The closest he got to scaring me was putting a Reckoner shot into Gorton on 0 camp, but armor 19's a thing, and I sort of laughed it off. Like 5 damage, like whatevs. And at that point, his play went down. Unfortunately, he was getting flustered with the time. And he made a couple... I mean, I personally don't feel any of those errors he made would have significantly changed the game. I would have won it just as well as I did anyways.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the next turn I kill the other Reckoner with the Earthbreaker. I cripple the final Reckoner with with a Snapjaw. And it just snowballs from there with me winning on scenario 5-0.
Well,
5-1.
I've got a fair amount of experience with that particular theme list. It's my preferred way of playing Resnick. And I'll tell you, that list, the list you have is not what it wants to see across the table. What it's hoping to see across the table is a bunch of infantry and stuff, so that it can. What's that?
I don't think it even would have liked my Durgan list. I felt like either one matched up pretty well.
Well, I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean, the cleansers. The biggest problem the cleansers have is that they have rotten rat, so they really struggle to hit anything with their sprays.
Yeah, and if you've got enough guns, they're just going to evaporate under your guns, which is unfortunate for them.
They just have terrible stats. So, I mean, the Eye of Menoth gets some, better ability to hit, but then the problem is that you don't get the AD off the theme list. And that theme list is, I mean, the reason you take it is because now you're staring down the barrel of 20 cleansers. The best luck I ever had against that was somebody dropped, Butcher 2 with all the Doom Reavers against me with that one, and that was against actually the original host of Painting with Menoth, John Adam.
Oh yeah,
and I evaporated that list. I manhandled him like I'd never manhandled another man in my life. So.
Oh, and just to answer Wanky Kong, the Durgan list did not have an Earthbreaker. It had a Rock Ram. Obviously, Thor was with the Gorton list. I don't believe in double Earthbreaker Um, Honestly, Durgan doesn't need it. It would help, but I think I'd lose too much good stuff.
Fair enough. So you now
So
you went ahead and you won that game pretty handily.
I
How did
won
the
that
rest of your
game.
team do?
Unfortunately, Bowie lost his game. He was playing against, I don't remember what faction, honestly. I didn't hear a lot about that, but unfortunately he lost. And halfway through my game, Banian had come by saying that he lost his game. So I was like, well, crap.
Yep.
But it turns out that he and Eddie had a little miscommunication. Eddie did bad math
Uh-oh.
and thought he needed 8s to hits when he needed 9s to kill his caster. So he manned up like any good opponent would. And they told Hacksaw, and they had to give Brad the win because Brad was like up like 4-0 control points.
Yep.
So we skated through that one.
That was some good sportsmanship right there, folks. That is 100% Painting with Menoth John approved.
All right, and I'm gonna do a quick, since it's gonna matter for the rest of the time, and Tin Can Sniper, who still needs to let me know who he is because he keeps calling me Spence. And it drives me nuts. I don't know who he is. He wants to know what my Durgan list was, and spoiler alert, that's what I played for the rest of the tournament.
Okay.
So I will break it out. It is, let's just roll to the end here, ATC 2014. It is in Highborn. It's Madhammer with a Rock Ram, Gun Mages with the Officer and a Mule, Max Forge Guard, Alton Ashley, Eris One, Goblin Tinker, Dougal McNeil, Lanissa Rissal, Reinhold, Rupert, Roshan Brine, and Victor Pendrake. And a little bit of tech in my specialist for a maximum amount of flexibility. I have Terran, Attack, Hernan John, and I got another Goblin Tinker for the last point.
Nice.
And I like that list a lot. It's done very well for me. So third game, we get matched up against a team called the Game of Beards, which is the other team from my local store. Unfortunate, but we have
strength of schedule being what it is.
Oh, apparently Tin Can Sniper's not someone who knows. Just somehow innately knew the nickname. A lot of some people call me. That's cool. All right, so I get to play against non-Brushhead Dave, and in the second seat for that team was originally going to be who we call Epic Beard, who the team's named after, but he had a death in the family and had to bow out.
Okay.
So huge shout out to Rinth from Muson Mini's fame for getting us a replacement player on short notice. I got in touch with him through the Muse forums on Monday morning before the ATC, and we had a replacement player before I left work that day, which was awesome.
Way to go, Rinth.
And a shout out to Patrick for jumping in and taking that spot and helping out that team. Those guys had a decent time. Overall, I think they had a great time. So he was playing Circle, Patrick was, and he had Epic Morvana and Chromac.
Okay.
He was in the second seat. And the third seat was the driver of our little expedition, at least for half of us, Joe. And Joe was playing Signar, and he had Kane 2 and Siege.
Okay.
No team feat left for us, and they decided not to team feat because none of them want to play me anyways. So we went all natural, and first thing I hear, we're about 10, 15 minutes into our game, Paul mentions that he has lost his game already.
Holy Christ. So at this point, Paul's 0-3.
Yes. Apparently he got the double teleport warpath just barely in the melee with Striker, which is a thing that happens, unfortunately, but, unfortunate when you see it happen like that. So that happened. Brad ended up, Banian ended up dealing with Joe.
Okay.
Which is fair. Joe's an emerging player. He's solid, but he's also a lot of practice.
Okay.
And he needs to find some concrete and harden the F up, as he likes to say, because he gets a little tilted quickly, and he recognizes it and tries to work about it. And Dave and my game went very well. One of the closer games I played, he thought it was over when I put Brine into his Carnivian, did a bunch of damage, didn't die. Then he kills Rorsch for something else, and in the return strike from Rorsch dying, Brine finishes off his Carnivian.
Just killed it on that last strike that Brine gets on when he's dying, right?
Yeah, and tech note, Brine's Animus, pig farm.
Yep.
Yeah, that lasts a round. So against living targets, you will get an extra die of damage if you hit them as he's dying or as Rorsch is dying.
Wow.
Yeah, we looked it up twice. I looked it up. He was satisfied. I looked it up 2 other times in a weekend because it sounded really weird.
Yep.
So he thought that ended the game, but he fought back, did some good jank with some shredders, but Mad Hammer just does too much work on his own. So late game, when I only had a couple things left, he was able to. I was able to pull it through and kill shredders and win 5-0 on
Nice.
scenario. So we were top team going into day 2.
Super sweet.
And then we took a little drive, had some cool Mexican at the place called Taco Rock, then headed on to Game On in Chattanooga. Bunch of cool guys there. Shout out to all the guys there. I don't remember all their names. The store owner was cool. We played some King of Tokyo, and we played Cutthroat Cavern, which, spoiler alert, was the only game Bowie won all weekend. That's a tough game to win. So that's you savor that victory. So we come back next day for day 2, and we're playing against Team Lock and Load. We played in round 1.
Yep.
And I'm just looking to have fun, and we've got choice of matchups, so I just move everything down 1, so we all play someone we haven't played before.
Sure.
In hindsight, Brad's like, well, that wasn't a favorable matchup. You should have changed it some other way. I'm like, well, we're all going to have to play each other, even if we, no matter what happens, or one team wins. So I'm not really worried about what's a favorable matchup.
Yep.
It's like, if one team loses 2 rounds, they lose 2 rounds no matter how that goes, more or less. So not worth thinking about. So I play against Corey, who's their Kador player. And wisely, in my opinion, he drops Sorsha rather than the Doom Reaver span, because I would have just shot that thing straight off the table because I dropped Mad Hammer.
Yep.
What I do.
It just erases that entire list.
Yep. And I had a little problem where I didn't quite get the slam the way I wanted to. There was some rules quirkiness. Don't necessarily agree with it, but hey, the judge says that's how it works. That's how it works.
Yep, that's how it is. And yep.
Got through that, and primed hammer dwarves kill the world. I got to be better about how I position them, but they still kill the world. I ended up winning that one 5-0 scenario.
Nice, well done.
Because Kayazi don't like Mad Hammer at all.
No, not at all.
And so then we switch. They get to choose the matchup. Unfortunately, Banyan lost against their Crix player, Mark, and Paul got too far forward and made some poor choices and lost to their Retribution player, who I think was playing Assyria.
Okay.
And he had a brain fart and forgot about Vengeance and those Sentinels, and that went poorly for him. So, it happens. We lost round 1. Round 2, we do the same matchups as we did the first day. So I'm playing it. So it's, team captain on team captain.
Yep.
So I play Mark. He drops Scorchade 3 again. I dropped Mad Hammer because I realized that me taking off the Kraken in 1 round was a little bit of luck. So I figured at the very least, heck, I'm in here for a good time. I'm going to try something different. I've already played that other game. I want to play something different.
Yep.
It's a heck of a game. It turns out if you shoot a mule at a Kraken and then hit it with 5 primed hammer dwarves or so, it's left with 7 boxes.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. I thought that was actually good.
I thought that math should work.
Well, if you put 7 boxes, that's actually probably a little better than I should do.
Yeah.
I killed it on the next turn, did a lot of attrition. Just when I was trying to clear out, because this game went forever.
Yeah.
I was trying to clear out and win. I hate winning on dice down. Competitive hint here. If you're ahead in scenario, take your full turn. It's your 10 minutes. You can use it how you want.
Yep.
Think about it. Drink some water. There's a little bit of contention, and I'm not going to call him out on that because Mark was a good guy. At the point where we had the contention, I'm like, look, I don't agree with what you did. I'm not going to call Haxel over. I'm just going to tell you that I don't think you should do things that way.
Fair enough. You handled it at the table like grown men oughta.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, well, no one had a problem before. I'm like, well, here's something for you to think about. It's all good. But I got a little too close in my efforts to clear the zone, and he's able to get Gorshade over to me and kill me. So they end up getting first. We end up getting second, which we're not sad about at all. We had a good time.
You know what? That's still no shame in that game. You know, you come away with a second place. It's even if there weren't a lot of teams there, it's still going to draw some good talent. So you should feel darn good about that.
Yeah, we had a good time. Paul needs to work a little bit. He had a bad weekend. It happens to anyone. We're not upset at how he did. I mean, it happens. It could happen to anyone.
Yeah, how's he feeling about it? Is he feeling kind of down about it?
He's good. He's a big boy. He's wearing his big boy pants and.
Okay, in that case, I can say that I feel really bad about how badly I lost. The fact that I lost to him at TempleCon because he kind of sucks. So I just thought I'd say that right now.
Fair enough. So they had a 35 point the next day. I got to meet PG Agamemnon of Privateer Press Forum fame with his all-painted Signar of Doom.
He's a super sweet guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, he was awesome. Unfortunately, he can't make it out on Saturday, so he could never play on a team.
Aw, I love that guy.
But luckily they arranged it so he could play in the 35 point the next day.
Nice.
He ended up taking third, and Joe from the other group ended up taking fourth, which is pretty good.
Nice.
He was very chuffed about that. And then I need to call out to Chris, who didn't play the first day, but played the second day, and he's a fan of the show.
Yeah,
doesn't really make it in the chat room too much. Apparently, this is the time they get to play, but
hey, you got to take that. That's why we put this thing out on audio, and that's why we put this thing out on the YouTube, so that people who can't join us here on the live thing have a chance to participate. And speaking of participation, John, are you all good with your bat reps, or should we move on to the Brushhead Gallery?
Well, one thing between that I want to talk about is participation. I'm throwing it out there to the Brushheads. We're going back next year because it's an emerging tournament. We want to keep supporting it.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you guys choose within, from a number of choices, what faction I play next year. I'll put it on Facebook as well, but and I'll try and keep track here in the comments if you guys vote. But you can choose what faction I'm going to play from the choices of Mercenaries, Retribution, or Circle/Other. I can't guarantee the Circle because both Bowie and Banian have Circle and have been itching to play. But if it's possible, and that's what you guys vote, I'll play that or whatever new faction I start.
That's quite the luxury you're giving the Brushheads here, picking your destiny.
Oh, and one up that, when I get the faction, I'm going to let Cindervale challenge me to the first caster, and I will choose a second one from the group.
Holy cow!
Maybe even let the Brushheads choose a third just to play with for a while.
Well, you heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. You're going to get a lot of choices here for you Brushheads that come on here and watch the show and who participate via the Facebooks. So get out there and like the Painting with Menoth John Facebook site. If you don't like it, then you can't participate. That's just how we roll. So, but John, no one could ever accuse us of not having some of the best fans in the business. I'm going to tell you that right now.
True enough.
The Brushheads are amazing, and that brings us to a little trip down, oh my God, we have a lot to show you, lane called the Brushhead Gallery. I wish I had some music for it, John, but I just don't. So I'm going to
work on that for the future.
We're going to go through these. I put out a call for some submissions earlier today, and then the internet opened up all over me. Unbelievable. So, but all with fantastic stuff, and I want to tell each and every one of you who are now epic Brushhead for sending these in. Appreciate it. Make sure you send in your loyalty card that you had in your membership papers that came as becoming Brushhead level 1s, so that you can collect your 5,000 epic Brushhead loyalty points that you can use towards items that are on page 4003 through 6002. So make sure you get that those forms sent in to the address that's in the book, and we'll take care of that right away. So here is the first one. The first one we have today is from Benj Hansen. Yes, the man who is responsible for me going to SmogCon this coming year. We have one from Benj Hansen. We have a very, very handsome looking galleon here. A little bit of reposing going on in this one. And as you guys know, Twitch has the worst delay of any service in the history of the internet. So I'm going to try and kind of keep these things rolling here. But Benj has provided us a couple of pictures here, a couple of different viewpoints. John, this is absolutely stunning work.
Yeah, it's very cool. I like that.
It looks like it's in action. It looks like it's laying the beat down on some Signar there, and I am always supportive of the Swans getting stomped under feet. I'm afraid Zosha Starscream is probably in the chat room and is yeah, there she is. It is
she's there.
And is probably hating me for saying this, but it looks like he's stomping down on a little bit of ironclad action there, and probably a Cyclone because nobody likes a Cyclone. So there, maybe an Avenger because nobody's even seen an Avenger, so you might as well put one underneath your galleon. So great work there, Ben. Thanks for sending that into the Brushhead Gallery. And then we have one from Malaysia. We have Mr. Joe Tan from Malaysia bringing this one in all the way across the Pacific. We have a little bit of infinity action going on here. And I'm going to tell you what, folks. Somehow we got a little bit of infinity in our 40K, and we got a little 40K in our infinity in this picture. We have, we got, I don't know if that's a Land Raider or a Rhino or what that is over there. I could care less.
It's a Lehman Russ and an Earthbreaker. Or Earth, whatever.
It's an Earth thingy.
Artillery piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget the name. Earthshaker. That's it.
Earthshaker. Okay, not to be confused with an Earthbreaker or a Bone Shaker or a bone of your own. Who knows? So there you go. We got Bone Breaker. Sounds like my first ex-wife. Anyway, so there you go. She's got we got a little Joe Tan action here with a couple of models here. Do you recognize these, John? Because I am not an Infinity expert.
They are from the Aleph faction. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. They look like targets to me.
I think that it looks like she might have a tactical combat thong on.
She might.
That looks like the beginnings of a tactical combat thong. Although I cannot support the fact that this was painted as though it was a like a lycra spandex battle suit. I think that we needed to have this painted in flesh tones so that we could indeed have that be a tactical combat thong.
She's an artificial person anyway. It actually might be her skin. Who knows? But speaking of tactical combat thongs, you might see one on one or two of my Relic Knights figures.
That's fantastic. Well, Relic Knights begs to be painted with tactical combat thongs. So yes. We've got Joe. I think it's great work. Flesh tones, baby. Flesh tones all the way. Anyway, so here we go. Now we're going to bring one in from Ryan Goes. Ryan is a newer Protectorate player. He was from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Good buddy of mine. He's been here to the Menoth Cave, hanging out here, played a little game. We did a little brunch machine here. And this is his high reclaimer. And I'll tell you what, he's a newer painter. He's getting some new techniques. And I really like the metallics on here. I like the gold and the black. I think that's a nice color combination for the high reclaimer. So good job there, Ryan.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yep.
It's different. I like different. Makes it unique.
Absolutely.
Can't argue with unique.
Absolutely. And did I ever tell you about my P Striker? He has a high reclaimer boiler on his back because I lost the one that came with the model, and I happen to have two high reclaimers. So now he's got a high reclaimer. I should take a picture of that sometime. Anyway, thank you, Ryan, for bringing that in. That was fantastic. Now we have with us some pictures from Ultra Brushhead Nick Van Slagmat. And so
awesome.
He sent in a beautiful converted Andre 2000. Not 2000? Yeah, Andre 2000. So this is a female version of her.
Oh.
And
so it's Andrea 2000?
Exactly. Leave it to the master of conversions to go with a female version, and the weathering on this is absolutely spectacular. Neek is a real craftsman when it comes to here. And ladies and gentlemen, you've seen these privateer press pins and all that kind of stuff, and I love the chibi ones. I want me some chibi Resnick, but I'm about to show you the one I have to have. It is the Nick von Slagmet as a Cadoran caster pin. It'll come up here in a second. We're waiting for the Twitch delay so that my co-host can react, and I'm kind of vamping as we go here. I should have hit it earlier. But, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see Neek as a Cadoran caster.
Oh, man, that's good.
That's some good stuff right there. Okay, all of a sudden are we still streaming, John?
Yeah, we're still good.
Okay, because all of a sudden yeah, we're still good. So all of a sudden my stream on my laptop kind of died. I'm just going to reset it. Hang on here, guys. Neek showed up on my podcast and all of a sudden broke my laptop. So there you go. So I think this would be fantastic. I would buy this one for sure. But he drew all that himself on the old computers. So hats off to you, Neek. Good job. He's got a bear on his shoulder. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, Kador.
Exactly.
Bear on the shoulder. Absolutely.
Exactly. How more Kador could you get? The answer is no. No more Kador could be possible. The
Fuzzy
next
hat.
Exactly. Well, he's got fuzzy hair, so fuzzy hair, fuzzy hat, whatever.
Close enough.
So the next one we have up here is from Cameron Karasak, who is otherwise known as Blog. You may have seen him on Steam Powered TV. We love him here. He's got some Protectorate kicking out here. He's got a couple pictures here of a Vanquisher, and there it is.
Yeah.
And doing some nice work there. Red is a son of a buck to paint, and he's going with it looks to be like a cream color with the red. That is some aggressive color schemes there, boy. I don't have the.
I think it's pretty close to the standard scheme. I think it's just the light that he shot it with makes it look a little yellowish.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Lights are a son of a gun. And then here we have Krios 3, which is a challenging model to put together and to paint and to make look good. And I think that Cameron's done a really nice job with it. Should be coming up here on the feed here in a matter of seconds. Good looking stuff. Cameron, I want to thank you for sending in your pictures. I want to thank all the Brushheads for sending in your pictures. We got more to go here, but I thought I wanted to put it out here. That pole, I don't know, lance thing sticking up in the air. I'm not sure why Privateer decided to make a caster as tall as a Colossal, but, there you have it.
Because it looks legit.
It does look legit. It's a good looking. I posed mine with it going down so that I could actually fit it into a bag. Oops, I skipped by one here. We can't do that. Next one up on the list is from Richard Moore. He sent us a picture of one of my favorite casters, Resnick, and I'm glad to hear that John Damaris from Muson Minis has finally decided that Resnick is legit. He started doing some dojo for Resnick on the Muson Minis podcast. He should have probably contacted me. I could have given him some dojo because I've been playing Resnick since way before Resnick was cool. He's still not cool.
I think he's pretty cool.
I think he's cool the way what he does to hordes. But here's a little Resnick action. We're very supportive of all the Resnicks. This is some nice work here. Got a lot of nice reds and blacks. That's a nice color combination there. And then we're going to move on to someone who has obviously been playing this game for quite some time, Mr. Chris Taylor, because he has the old Gale Force 9 terrain that is completely unplayable, but is awfully nice for taking pictures with.
The Signar one actually it can be played, but it's the Menoth one is you have to count those as linear obstacles, or there's no way.
Oh yeah, even as linear obstacles, God help you.
It's still difficult.
God help you. But here we got a little Hierophant action there, and we've got a Dirty Signar Vassal in there. We locked him up just like how he deserves to be locked up. And we got a little bit of the old Temple Flame Guard action there. So the thing I like about this is that I love the bright golds in this one. I really do. It's, he's decided not to wash them down or anything like that, and keeping them with that bright, I think, is something you don't see very often, and I appreciate that. I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So there's a guy from Sweden. His name's David Munro. And I met David very briefly, and I apologize to David. He was at Gen Con last year, and I was with my 2 kids and my ex-wife. The ex-wife wasn't the problem. She was having fun. She just wanted to tag along with the kids and stuff like that. But he is a real gentleman, and he forgot he's already let me know that he forgot that shot glass last Gen Con. He forgot it at my house, and which he's never visited. But he's got that $8, even though he would have had Swedish money or whatever it is, Kronar or something like that. I don't know, whatever Thor uses. And but he sent us some pictures of Rock. Now, for those of you who have never seen Rock, this is Rock. And in fact, it's Rocky the Rock. And he sent us some pictures of him. And I think it looks fantastic. I love, for those of you who want a tutorial on how to do, shading and highlighting, this is almost a clinic in highlighting, using bold colors to get good highlights and stuff like that, because it makes a tremendous difference. Look at that War Axe, and look at how he used the very light gray to go along with the darker grays. It makes all the difference. So be bold. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up repainting it. Whatever. It's a model.
I love the face. The face is legit.
Yep, the face is fantastic. David, fantastic work. Thank you for sending this into the Brushhead Gallery. Coming up next, we have, and I have to apologize to Zach Gross on this one. Zach sent me a ton of some beautiful, beautiful scorn. And we're just not going to have time in this segment to go over all the beauty. So I'm going to show you some of them. Here we have a little bit of Moloch Karn. We have an absolutely beautiful Archidon. What I like about this Archidon is that a lot of people are doing some pretty crazy, awesome stuff with wings, which is beautiful, and I love that. But what he's done is he's gone with more of a single wing color that is still, it almost looks a little bit more realistic, you know? I could see an Archidon existing with this color pattern on its skin. Looks absolutely beautiful, though. And then we have...
I like the bases, the rock wall type of thing, and it looks like he's on a tower up in the clouds. That's legit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, a lot of times pulling off that cloud effect with a cotton ball or something like that is really, really difficult, and he's pulled it off exceptionally well. And then carrying the theme through in a lot of his models is this rock wall kind of a theme, which is, you know, gives your army a little bit of consistency and coherency. Me, I put some sand and some like really crappy leaf litter down, and I call it based. You know, this is, or I get some shit out of my driveway, which is what I did with the with my Earthbreaker. You know, this is legit talent going on right here. So then we have the poop handler coming up here pretty quick. We have a poop handler, and it's saying, "Here's poo." My favorite part. I love the poo handler. And then we also have Guitar Hero Hexeris, Hexy 2, with the big eye painted out there saying, "I see you, and you're about to get ashes to ashes." So
a good note to Brushheads: if you're ever in some sort of painting competition, you need to do something crazy with your bases, because what changes, you know, your model from the next model and draws them to it is bases.
You know what? That's really excellent advice.
Even if your model is not quite as good as the next model in line, if you've got amazing bases, you'll get the edge up on them. Yep. I've lost painting competitions like that.
Absolutely. You know, and I when I've done some special models for like Chris Olhafen from Fallen Studios, I did the Gorman jumping over the colossal leg and things like that. It gives the piece a little bit more drama, and that's just really great stuff. So that's some sage advice you got for the Brushheads out there, Mr. John.
Yeah, experience. Apparently I have some.
All right, folks. Well, that brings us to a close to another Painting with Men with John Brushhead Gallery. Just realized this, for some reason I capitalized all the letters in John on the presentation, so I'll have to fix that for next time. But anyway, we're running a little late. Only about 15 minutes. That's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
But you know what time it is, John?
I do.
It's something we haven't done for a few weeks.
Absolutely, and we've got a bunch.
Flippity bloop.
All right. I'll start with Byron Lyles, who asks, he said, this is from a couple weeks ago. He said, played a swap machine tournament today. Next round, you play your previous opponent's army. Silly idea or good way to learn your opponent's faction?
Okay, run that one past me one more time. I've had a little too much absinthe.
You play someone. I guess first round you play your army. Next round you play with their army.
Oh.
And I guess they play with yours.
At a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, that could be an interesting tournament. You'd have to do it between friends because some people just aren't down with letting other people use their models. But
well, okay.
I think it's an interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea. Let me kind of pose why I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to say no because there are other people playing in that tournament. Unless you're in the losers bracket.
Well, I think it means tournament-wide. Everyone doing that.
Oh, tournament-wide.
I think that's legit.
I think it'd be super fun. I think it's super fun if you've got a room full of people you can trust to play with your models.
Yeah.
But man, that'd be super cool. I mean, that would be that is a way of kind of doing a more fun format that sort of preserves some of the competitiveness. So I guess I'm kind of down with that. I'll give that a 2 shots of Kraken.
Excellent.
Because I wouldn't mind having 2 shots of Kraken in a tournament like that.
I wouldn't mind 2 shots of crack in that last round.
Speaking of which, we're starting our flippity bloops. So hey, Ron.
Run.
Oh God, man, that shit is stiff. Anyway, flippity bloop.
All right, Nevendar posted a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna breeze through them. He says, guess the ratio of metal versus green stuff content of my metal battle box Titan Gladiator.
Oh God, I'll take the first one on this one. I'm going to say that it is at least 20% green stuff. I've seen those metal Titans before. They're a bit of a piece of work.
I was going to go 3-1, so about 25% green stuff. So we're pretty much in agreement there.
Next.
His other one is, why is having spare time such a dull thing to have after weeks of doing Notorious? It's just hard to get used to having free time after having a very, very busy weekend. This weekend's been kind of weird.
Yeah, you take that sit back, and it's like you start feeling guilty about just sitting still and not doing anything. It's weird. I totally get that. So, there you go, flippity bloop.
And his final one was, should Nevendar actually go to SmogCon?
Hell yes.
That's what I was going to say.
Hell
Absolutely.
yes. Come to SmogCon, meet Belinda Librarian, meet me, bring Swedish booze. Bring Swedish booze. Bring some akavit or something. I don't know what Swedish booze is, but bring me some because I want to try some with you. And we can hang
you
out.
Get to meet the Irish, and those guys seem like they'd be a hoot.
I am deathly afraid of the Irish. I mean, I put crap out on Twitter about coming to SmogCon, and it's like the Irish fall out of the wood, and it's like, well, I love you guys. Don't try to kill me. And Belinda and I had to have a talk the other day when we were chatting, and I'm going, now, Belinda, there are these people called the Irish. And the Irish,
they're going to try and kill you.
the Irish appear to have a death wish for me, and I'm going to show you an awesome time around London in the days before SmogCon, but I'm not sure I can vouch for my own safety after SmogCon begins. It's going to be amazing. So yes, Nevendar, please come if you can still get a ticket.
Absolutely.
They sold the first 300 in like the first day.
Yeah, I've heard on a couple of the UK podcasts. It's pretty impressive.
And hats off to John Webb. God bless that guy. I love John Webb. I mean, my interactions with him have only been electronic, but I'm sure looking forward to meeting him. He is such a gentleman, and he's done such a good job with that con. Really looking forward to meeting him in person and seeing if he actually has a head underneath that stocking cap. Really looking forward to seeing that. So there you go. Next one, flippity bloop.
This is another one from a couple weeks ago. Banian asks, how do you think Crix and Circle would deal with Miserable Meat Mountain and Fist of Haluk?
Well, Crix I think is uniquely ready to take care of the Miserable Meat Mountain. I mean, Banes are Banes, and POW 13 Weapon Masters are a thing.
And Parasite all over the place in that faction makes those guys sad.
Oh yeah, I mean, you take and you swing the armor 5 points, and then here comes a Bane, and you've got let alone a Scar 1 Bane, and bad things, naughty bad things happen to that list. Now, I had some people ask me about the Miserable Meat Mountain over the course of the week, and I think this is probably as good a time as any to pontificate on it. I am loving every minute of my time with trolls. I mean, I am just having a ball with them. I'm winning with them. So I'm like 70% win rate with them. And that's including the fact that I'm putting in some just god-awful lists. I mean, I'm playing a fair amount of Gunbjorn, to be honest. And I hate the Miserable Meat Mountain. Literally hate that list. It's dull as crap to play. It's demoralizing for your opponent. And the list moves up. It casts a couple Animists. the Creel Stone moves forward, pops its aura, and then you wait for crap to crash into it. It's ridiculous. It's nothing more than an exercise in timing your feet reasonably correct. And if you know anything about threat distances, doesn't even take that much to time your feet correctly. And I mean, I was sitting there playing against a guy in my local game store up in Milwaukee, and it's like turn 4 and I've lost 3 models. That's fine. If you want to play a game like that, that's great. But at the meantime, I haven't done anything exciting. I think there are a lot of lists out there that are similar to the Meat Mountain, but are a whole lot more fun to play. And I'm going to tell you 2 of them right off the get-go here. And all you got to do is switch out the caster. I mean, for sure, inhospitable ground is a thing, and it saves your front line of warders and champions from getting charged against with any kind of reliability. But play that list with Madrak 1 or Madrak 2. And I'm going to tell you what, it will not be demoralizing to your opponent because your opponent won't be on the table very long. And oh my God, the fact that you put Crusher onto a warder that's been fell called, and all of a sudden you've got a Mat 9 POW 12, maybe I believe they're battle driven, so they could be POW 14 weapon masters, and now they've got Crusher. Or even worse, Blood Furium, and add a die to them and make them super weapon masters. Holy crap!
Yeah,
that is infinitely more interesting than the Meat Mountain. Now, I've heard about the Gristlepocalypse. Okay, we're going to talk about the Gristlepocalypse next. Yes. Okay, great. If you want to play that combination of casters, be my guest. But it is 0% fun. And I'm going to, it's not often that I make controversial stands here on Painting with Men Off John, but let's face it, there's about 4 of us that listen to this show, okay? That list is bad for the game. It is bad for the game. It is going to cause people to quit playing War Machine and Hordes. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to play the Meat Mountain. I'm not going to play the Gristle Meat Mountain unless I'm up against Jordan Knock. And it's not because Jordan Knock is actually a genuinely decent guy. I enjoy playing it, but he's a handful to play against. Holy cow, is he good. But don't know what you've heard about Jordan or anything like that. Everybody's got something to say about everybody. I'm sure people got plenty to say about me. But Jordan has always treated me with great respect and has always been a wonderful opponent. And but I might bring it out against him because he just kills things dead, and I need something ridiculous to play against him. But in general, I don't like the list. I think there's another flippity bloop in there somewhere, John, where they ask me what is my favorite caster right now. Oh, Edu.
2 people actually asked me that. It was Tim Simpson and where's the other guy? It's Tim Simpson and Miles Healy asks, "What's your favorite troll caster?" Oh, Tim Simpson asks, "What's your favorite Trollkin Warlock?"
Mm-hmm.
And then Miles, "What's your favorite other than the 2 Doomies?"
Oh, okay. Well, first off, we'll answer Tim Simpson's first. Doomshaper 2 is far and away my favorite caster. There's no question that he does everything I want this faction to do for me. He makes big, obnoxious trolls go so fast and then kill everything once they get there. I had so much fun. I played a Mountain King list on Saturday for Brunch Machine with Menoth John. And God bless Zach. He made a bit of a positioning error, and it looked a little bit easier for me to win that game. He had actually put me in a very difficult position that if I had not been able to assassinate, spoilers, that if I had not been able to assassinate it, it would have turned out poorly for me. But God bless it all, the ability to throw that Mountain King so far. I mean, you put Lanissa Rissel in that list, and all of a sudden trolls are just screaming across the table, and they just kill everything they touch. So E-Doomy's my number one. Once you take E-Doomy and Doomy 1 out of the equation, my next favorite, and I haven't played him yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to like him, and that's Madrak 1.
Fair enough.
I haven't played Madrak 1 yet because Crusher gives me a feat that is every bit as much potential fun as Scar 1. And Scar 1's feat with my list is one of the most glorious experiences of my War Machine life. Being able to send a Gerlach Slaughterborn who is Dark Guidance with plus 5 strength through an army is just amazing. So I would say that's probably my answer to that. Do you have any comment on this question, John?
Well, I used to play Trolls.
Okay.
My favorite was Jarl. Jarl was amazing.
I have not played him very
my kind
much.
of caster. Because he does personal work, which I like from a caster. And he's got some good support for where the turns when he can't. Quicken on... The joke was always that his feat was horrible. It actually isn't. But I always joke, I think that Quicken on Fenblades or Tuffaloes is really his feat. And the rest of that stuff's just extra.
You know, there's a lot to be said with that. Quicken Tuffaloes are just wrong.
And Quicken Fenblades on when they pop their mini feet, oh my, they go forever.
They go a long ass way. There's no two ways about that.
I've had them just crush like, oh, Gorman failed Terror. Oh, look, your Idrian's failed Terror. What are you gonna do now? Die. That's what you're gonna do.
That's a very good point.
I love some Jarl. He's fun. I had a lot of success with him. I also like Doomy 1. So
Doomy 1's got a great gotcha factor on that feat turn.
Yep.
Why don't you take 4d6 of damage? What?
Yeah.
Anyway, flippity bloop.
You only make that mistake once. All right. Next one is the last of the old ones, I believe.
Okay.
It's from Sean Colbert. He said, if you had your choice of bases for your models, would you go with aftermarket or stick with the standard PP ones?
It's a very personal choice there, Sean. I have my Signar are all on Dragonforge design bases. They're lovely to look at. I have them on the Lost Empires series or Forgotten Empires series of bases.
I got this for my some of my Relic Knights.
Yep, they're beautiful bases, and I've had a lot of fun putting my Signar on them. But you know, I want to say it's a very personal choice. Dragonforge design does make an awfully beautiful base. What's that?
Painting cam.
Painting cam? Whoops, yeah. I'm painting. Thank you very much. I've just production values, folks. Production values.
It's easy to get distracted.
Yep. So yeah, we're talking about flippity bloops here, and this is the part of the show I live for. So anyway, so yeah, I think all my Signars are on the Dragonforge design ones. It's a very personal choice. I am glad that I have a mix. I am glad that I have a faction where I'm doing Dragonforge design, and I have a faction that I'm doing, regular ones that I'm putting, sand and then putting some flock and things like that, because I can kind of tell different stories with the different bases. So anyway, so what's your thoughts, John?
If money and potential time in getting the bases isn't an object, I'll almost always go with a resin base. Basing is one of my it's one of my weaker points. I'm still getting over it.
Yep.
But monetarily, if you can find some stuff, just whatever you've got to make bases look cooler, without resorting to resin bases, they'll look so unique, and it's so much cheaper. It's really awesome. So, do what you can. Just try it out. I've got a buddy who takes just make plasticard that's in, brick or deck plating, that kind of thing. You can cut those to fit, and he's taken basic plasticard and cut lines in it and all that stuff. You can do a ton just with some plasticard, a knife, and some imagination, and whatever bits you can find. I mean, hit up the 40K and fantasy players. Like, got extra bits? Throw me some extra bits.
Yep.
You're surprised how much just like a broken sword or just a little box on your base makes a heck of a difference.
even with Privateer, with the plastic kits and stuff like that, and all the different extra bits that you end up with as a result of the plastic model kits, that can make a big difference too. Those I've used a lot of those bits before in doing custom basing as well.
I've got a broken Winter Guard shoulder pad from one of the Rifle Corps on my base for Ashland. It adds a bit of character to the base.
Exactly. I had a little bit of an unboxing mistake with my warders, and ended up losing a couple of hip plates or whatever they want to call them, the armor that goes over their thighs, like thigh pads, and then my 8-year-old found it today after I'd gotten done already building my entire warders and done a bunch of like modifications and stuff to get rid of that particular piece and all that kind of stuff. But I'll save those bits and I will use those as potential modeling bits and basing bits later. So I think what we got as far as an answer here, John, is kind of do a little bit of variety, or do what makes you happy.
I just want to throw out one extra note from Ursus Octavar. If you're a really competitive player, he mentions that some of the resin bases, they not necessarily exactly the right measurement. So keep that in mind. That only really matters if you're a super mega competitive player, which I believe you'd be listening to the wrong podcast if you are.
Yeah, you've come to the wrong damn place. This is
but if you are because
that.
you like the conversation, keep that in mind. It could make a difference.
Yeah.
Probably not a big one, but it's worth mentioning.
You know what? If I'm at a competition and I see somebody haul out a set of calipers, I'm pretty much going to just pick up my stuff and go, you know what? You want this more than I do. So good luck with all that. And we'll see you all go to the Cool Kids Club in the losers bracket. So anyway, flippity bloop.
All right. Declan Lowry asks, have you played much or any High Command? And he goes on to mention that he got the core set when it first came out, thought it was nice, but didn't play it much. He since picked up the expansions Invasion of Soul and Heroes and Legends, and he says to play it a lot different and better now.
Well, that gives me some heart, because I will tell you with great honesty that I have the Hordes basic and I have the War Machine basic one, and I played a few games of it and hate it with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns, mostly because I could just play Khador and just buy Jax and buy myself to victory. Now, from what I've been told by multiple sources, that once you get into some of the other expansions and stuff like that, the game fixes itself and you end up with not so much that problem anymore. But so that makes me happy that you said that, Declan. Perhaps I will pick up the expansion to Sul and maybe some other ones and actually do some deck building with it. The problem I also have is that it's not real big in my store, and I guess there are some people that would play with me. I mean, I've got Dark Legacy. I've got an Infernal in my store, for God's sakes, and he'll play anything, but so long as it's got PP on it. But I don't have much of an opinion beyond the original boxes, and the original boxes were frankly unplayable. So, flippity bloop. What about you, John? You got any experience with it?
We played a little bit. Not Brushhead Dave got it from Gen Con last year. We've enjoyed it as a change of pace, but not enough for me to like get serious and buy my own set. When it was super duper cheap, as Miniature Market's deal of the day for like $20 or something. I still didn't pick it up. I'm not a big living card game guy anymore. I've only owned one card game anymore. I'm not really into. I mean, I'll play it like if they break it out, I'll play it. If I bought the extra sets, I might take a little bit of time and customize a deck and play it. But if we got 4 people, we're going to play 2 games of War Machine.
Yeah, I could take that money and put it towards some models.
Yeah. Seems okay, but not my thing.
Yep. So there you go, flippity bloop.
All right. Well, here we go. Ben Jansen asks, has Retribution seen any resurgence in your local meta? He also asks the national meta, but I'm not sure we'd know about that, especially since the release of Imperatus. He says he saw 3 Retribution players in the top 5 at his local tourney, and most were playing Vyros Tier.
Vyros 2. So I'm assuming Vyros 2?
Probably Vyros 2. Vyros 1 Tier.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what... Yeah.
So someone on the Facebook Retribution of Cyberforms made I think it was Vyros 2 theme with a ton of horses. It was silly.
I saw
it was
that.
3 full units of Destro Thanes, and I believe our response was I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
I saw that, and while I didn't throw up in my mouth, I was like, "Really, you bought that? That's a lot of money, man."
Well,
Furthermore,
I don't think he did. I think he was joking. But the worst thing was I was chatting with Cindervale through Facebook, and he kept getting me on the subject, like legitimate, like it was legitimately a thing, and I kept being like, "Well, you do this and this." I'm like, "Damn it, I don't want to talk about this anymore." Oh,
it's not. I mean, I'm closest thing to a Dester apologist you'll find, and they are just they're. I mean, okay, so here's the deal with Desters. All right, they have the one thing that I think they're better than Vengers. Okay, but I formed that opinion prior to prior to the invention of Krios 3, and I think they are better than Vengers prior to that. However, Krios 3 is a thing, and they are bananas bonkers with Krios 3. Now, that being said, they have to stand still in order to get their second shot. I hear that's bad for a horse. I hear that's not why you take cavalry.
yeah. They like a lot of the movies I review. I have the opinion that they're almost there.
Yeah.
Like if they had reach all the time or something like that, just if they
Yep.
just a lot of the cavalry need that fixing.
Yep.
If they just were fixed a little bit, they'd be great. I want to try and use them, but I'm waiting for my mom to buy them for my birthday or something. I'm not gonna shell out $100 for them yet.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got a full set. I've got a full unit of them built and stuff like that. Have I seen, to kind of get more to his question, have I seen a resurgence in my local meta? No. I mean, I think Assyria made a bit of a resurgence. I had seen some. I've seen a fair amount of Assyria on a number of. I'm just letting my DeathJack dry, by the way. So that's what you're all seeing here. I'd seen a little bit of a resurgence following the Assyria coming out. She was there was a ton of retribution for a while there, but I think that's all kind of calmed down. Right now, everybody's kind of, like myself, is all into the trolls. And I've seen a big resurgence in trolls. I've seen a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon. And, thanks, Chad. So there you go. What about you?
We've got a couple, like one or two diehard Ret players that come around occasionally to the store, so that hasn't changed. I occasionally play Ret. We lost one occasional Ret player when Cindervale had to go to Korea. One of the guys who plays Crix has bought Ret, but he's probably not going to play them much. It's just for here and there. And he loans them out, so not really. I kind of want to play some Ret. We'll see if I get a chance to or not.
You know, I've got Imperitus coming. As soon as Dozer and Smig come out, I'm getting Imperius at the same time, and I'm gonna be getting. I'll get some time in with that. I want to play him with Assyria, to be honest, and see, because I'm pretty sure that him with a little bit of science importance, so to speak, is fairly bananas. Do the old Imperitus Moloch Karn action, and I think he's pretty darn. I think he's going to be pretty fun to put on the table. But beyond that, I mean, I just don't know if I just don't. The only reason I don't sell my Ret is that I have so many hours into that. In that army, every model that's in that army, with the exception of one Mage Hunter Assassin, I painted. So it's got a lot of my soul in it. And so it's hard for me to give up on it and to walk away from it. I mean,
Voice of
basically,
experience, unless you're totally 100% out of that army, never sell a painted army.
yeah, I can't sell it.
Voice of experience.
Yep. And so it's 100% painted. It'll be 100% painted once. As soon as Imperatus gets here, you guys are going to get a chance to watch me paint an Imperatus. And I'm going to do something special with it, too, because I'll repose it. I'll find some kind of a wacky base to put on it and all kind of stuff. I'm going to make him special. Because as much as I frickin' have a hate relationship with that faction, I'm committed to having an amazing looking army with that one. So, flippity bloop.
All right, I'm going to start jumping around now. A couple of these are going to require a little more words than the others, and we're getting long on time.
Yeah, we are.
So I'll go to Tadgo from the chat room. He goes, how about the New Jerseys?
Oh, somebody's baiting me.
Sorry.
They're an offense to good taste.
Holy shit.
They are amongst the most ugly things I've ever seen in my entire life. I am sad that they exist, and I am afraid that when I show up at conventions and people are wearing them, the first question that's going to accidentally fall out of my mouth is, did you pay for that? And how much? Because, oh my God, they're ugly. They're just wrong looking. And, Dave Monroe, God bless his soul, had it right. He hit it. He nailed it right on the head. Make me a hockey jersey.
Yeah.
But
Hockey jerseys look a lot better in that kind of stuff than others.
Yep. If they had just
all
done
the crazy ones, like we're buying one for a buddy as a gift, it's a hockey jersey.
Yeah.
This looks better.
Yep. Could have been.
I only saw the circle one because it's the only one for faction that I actually play. Thanks, PP.
Yep.
And it was a little weird. Not really something I would wear, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they put exactly the same background on all of the Hordes ones. They put all the same background on the War Machine ones, and they just kind of changed the color a little bit. And they're horrible looking. They're disgusting. They're a terrible thing. They're an affront to. They're an affront to fashion. And I'll tell you what, as a straight man, that's hard for me to say, because they're just disgusting.
I don't quite have the same, opinion as you. I'm not a fan. I mean, someone watches them and be like, okay, it's your choice, your money. I see people in all sorts of ugly jerseys, like Dallas Cowboys, stuff like that. I mean, ugly jerseys are everywhere. It's just more not my favorite. I wish they would have done more work in making sure that they covered all the factions for everyone. But I'm glad that they're actually looking at making that kind of thing.
Sure.
They have their T-shirts on the website, but they don't all come in John size.
Well,
so at least they're looking into it.
Yeah.
Positive note.
Yep. They're horrifying. So there you go. You're being much more kind than I am. But
I looked at all of them. So.
But boy, they're man, really. That made it through all the approval process, huh? Way to go. All right, so flippity bloop.
All right. Jay Sellers asks, what is the chance that you actually start playing Infinity? Obviously directed at you since I already play Infinity.
That's funny. That's funny because Will Pagani commented, because I retweeted a bunch of these to in order to get, because people, God bless their soul, have forgot to put the hashtag flippity bloop on it, and I wanted to make sure you could find them easily. So I retweeted them with flippity bloop so you could find them. And but Will Pagani's comment on my Facebook was, God, I hope not. And I don't know.
Get Will on. I'll have to find out what his hate for Infinity is.
I think the hate for the Infinity is from Will is that he feels like there's too much randomness in it, and that the fact that it is a single D20 system with where you have some numbers that you're trying to match and things like that. It's usually a single die system that tends to be his problem. So I think that's where most of it comes from. God bless Will. And I'm hoping to get him on here again really soon. We've just been having some tough times kind of making our schedules work because he had to go to the Dota 2 International and things like that. He's a very opinionated dude, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
But it's a great game, or it wouldn't have as many people playing it as it does. To be honest with you, here in Milwaukee and the greater southeast Wisconsin area, there just isn't anybody playing Infinity.
Yeah.
And as I would, the models are beautiful, and it sounds like fun. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't have anybody to play with. So I'd say the chances are very low that I will play Infinity. Now, that being said, if the Krug and I happen to show up in the same place, and if they're willing to lend me some models, I'm happy to play my ass off against those guys because they're super sweet. We'll get drunk as hell, and we'll play a bunch of Infinity, and it'll be super sweet. So there you go.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, another fun one. This is from Tim Simpson, another one from Tim
I
Simpson.
love that guy, by
What
the way.
is your favorite Rocky film?
My favorite Rocky film is clearly the I believe it's Rocky 3 that has Mr. T in it.
Okay, that's the one.
Yep, because everything is better with a little bit of Mr. T in it. Let's be honest. And so yeah, that would be where I'm at with it. I mean, Rocky 4 with Drago, I think is fine. And that was when Sylvester Stallone was involved with the chick from Red Sonja, right?
Yep, who's also in that movie.
Yep. So I'm all in
Nielsen.
favor of that. She was fine to look at and all that kind of good stuff. But so those are my two favorites. What's yours, John?
Rocky 4. I want to defeat communism by punching somebody. That's America.
America, baby, America.
Honestly, the fight in that movie is just the fight at the end is just amazing.
I will break you.
It's just great. It's great movie boxing. I do shout out to 3. 3 is really good. And honestly, after 4, I didn't see any more. Here 6, I guess it would be, is actually pretty good, but
Wow,
I think 4 is the best.
there was a 6?
Yeah, Rocky Balboa, because Rocky 5
Oh.
I heard was bad, and then Rocky Balboa was sort of like his Rambo to to end the Rambo series. Maybe not the end.
Okay, gotcha.
It was sort of like that, I think, after they had that positive, because Rambo was an amazing movie.
Super sweet. So there we go. Flippity bloop.
All right, a couple more fun ones. Let's go David Wanke, because this is somewhat time sensitive. He's planning on going to a single list event in Oshkosh this upcoming weekend. Palace, E-Thags, or E-Lilith.
So Wanky obviously has totally given up on his mercs, which is very depressing. I mean, I think that already makes him a loser. And
But he did vote for me to play Rulik as my ATC challenge, which isn't going to happen. But
Wanky's a terrible human being.
I put his vote as Mercs. And there's Osram. I can play Osram, just not as Searforge.
So, okay, here's what I'm going to do for Wanky, because Wanky's got legitimate skills. He's a good player. And he's going up to Oshkosh, which is a newer meta.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see him play Callus. Not because Callus is bad, because I think Callus asks some questions that are going to break the minds of the Oshkosh meta.
That's fair.
People are used to playing. The reason I think it'd be good for you, David, to play Callus is that they're gonna see a flavor of Legion they have never seen before in their lives. They're gonna get a chance to see what infantry heavy Legion looks like as an alternative to beast heavy, which is, frankly, the folks mostly see a very beast heavy version of the Legion. So I would say go with the Callus and teach them something. Use them skills, Mr. Wanky, and teach them something different. So what do you think, John? Where would you go with for Mr. David?
All right. Well, apparently it's Wonky. Apparently his last name's pronounced Wonky.
Whatever. I'm going to call him whatever I bloody well please.
But I'll say the same thing I said when not Brushhead Dave proposed his 2 lists of P-Thag and E-Thag. Thag life! Just play E-Thag. Yeah, we called that pair Thag life. Play Epic Thagrosh. You'll have more fun. He's he'll also show those guys some crazy stuff.
Yep.
But I can't argue with Callus. Either way, just don't play Lilith 2. Good Lord.
No, don't do that. That's so...
You have to like new players. You have to like new players, not crush their souls.
You'll cause people to quit the game. And Ryan, I think, is moving back into the greater Oshkosh area. Ryan Goes, who's in the Brushhead Gallery, is moving back up into the greater Oshkosh area. So don't crush a Brushhead. Don't crush a Brushhead. So there you go. Flippy bloop.
All right. Scott Hebel II asks, do you change out dice in the rolling hot during a friendly game?
Nope.
Yeah. No. Hell no.
Nope. I made someone change a die that they were rolling because they were hitting every tough roll, and I regretted it. I'll never do that again. That's a douchebag move. Don't do it. Let people play the dice that they brought to the table. There's nobody's got any frickin' loaded dice out there. just play the dice. They'll average out. It may turn out bad for you now, but it'll work out again sometime in the future. So just don't.
Yeah, I never change out my dice. Rolling good, rolling bad. I start with them. I stay with them. I it is funny. I have some tiny, tiny, tiny dice. I don't know how many millimeters there are, but the single digits that I use for marking wounds on like shifting stones until I have them marked.
Yep.
In laziness, every round before the ATC, I'd roll that to see who goes first. It
Yep.
was the only one I had easily access to. I'm like, I'm going to roll to see who goes first. I'm not rolling these for the game. I'd roll it, and they're like, holy crap, that's tiny. Like, that's why I'm not rolling them for the game.
There you go. That way we don't have to stare at these for the rest of the day.
Yeah. All right.
Flippity poop. Anywhere else, or should we move on to our media section, John? Save them for next time.
I think let's get the one from Cheated Fates Joe that you sent out.
Okay.
That you retweeted. Because it should be relatively easy and quick. Leave us a couple for next time.
Gotcha.
He wants to know, is there a color scheme you wanted to do so badly you bought a faction with the sole intention of painting them, not playing them?
Nope. Not even close. This is ostensibly a hobby podcast with a drinking problem. And but honestly, I appreciate that people do that. I mean, there's some serious hobbyists out there that very rarely get to play the game. And I respect the living daylights out of that, but nope, haven't done that myself. What about you, John?
No, I bought a model occasionally here or there to paint. Very rarely.
Man, I haven't even done that.
But no, not a whole faction or anything. And rarely for a paint scheme, more because I like that model.
Yeah.
And really more because maybe I thought my wife might like that model to paint. She's got a bunch of models to paint.
There you go. So, well, I think that's admirable. I can't, I appreciate the question, but I can't fess up to actually having done that.
Yeah.
So, flippity bloop. Are we done?
We're done for now.
Okay, that sounds good. We are going, God, dreadfully late. So we'll probably try to make this next section, the media section of tonight's show, just a little bit faster than normal. But I'm actually enjoying how this DeathJack is turning out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's looking good.
He's I've got this army painter. It is the God, what the heck? Where did I put it? Here it is. It's the dark tone, which is, I found a thing on the internet that refers to it as kind of the new Badab Black.
Yeah.
And it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's giving me a really nice effect on the metals. And I'm really liking it.
Strong tone, I think, is the new Devlin Mud more. It's like Devlin Mud more or less.
Yep, that's the other one I have here. I've got the strong tone as well. And then there's another one that I guess is Graphone Sepia.
Yeah, more like Graphone Sepia, yeah. It's,
and I think
light
that
tone or whatever.
Yeah, and I've got to get that one because right now I'm actually like I have like almost no Seraphim Sepia left, and I've got to get some more. But anyway, so let's
Brushes might be the only thing I like using out of the GW bottles.
What, the Seraphim Sepia?
Well, the washes in general.
Oh yeah, I don't even.
Else I prefer a dropper bottle, but those I actually kind of like the bottle.
Yeah, the amount that it gets on your brush each time is nice. It seems to be a good amount. So let's move on to the media club. We've got a lot to talk about here, John, and we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about it because we may go a little bit long here, but I don't want to turn this into a 2-hour podcast.
Fair enough.
But first off, hey, Ron.
No, I'm empty.
Oh my God, I can't. Man, that Roaring Dan's can suck my schnitz. That's some bad stuff. By the way, I'd like to apologize.
Still drinking it?
Because it's there. And I okay, I had depression era parents, so it's like throwing something away just doesn't work for me, especially when it costs $30 a bottle. You know what I mean? So
yeah, fair enough.
I'll drink this crap, and I'll punish myself each and every podcast for it. But I'm gonna be going back to the Kraken, and then when I get back to the Kraken, it's gonna be nothing but, clouds are gonna part and angels are gonna sing, and it's gonna be awesome. But let's talk real quickly about a few things here. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. We're going to, John, we got a movie club coming up.
We do. Technically, it's 2 weeks away, but Might as well get it out of the way now.
This is worth putting out there because we are going to spoil the crap out of a movie that literally you got to see this before we spoil it. Okay, Brushheads, I'm serious about this. If you have not seen this movie, get out there and do it because we're going to spoil it. And if you spoil this movie and you haven't seen it, then you've done yourself a disservice. It's available.
We're going to have to skip that last half an hour of the podcast because you don't want it to be spoiled.
No, this movie is too good to be spoiled. This is The Usual Suspects.
Yep.
So,
one of you guys suggested it as a movie I watch and review, and I'd hate to review it in a normal podcast and spoil it for somebody, so
yep.
I figured it'd make a great movie club.
And I completely agree with you, John. So we're going to do this as the Painting with Men with John movie club. Folks, you got 2 weeks. I failed at this one when we did Conan the Barbarian, and I regretted it, and I ended up contributing almost nothing to that podcast. We are not going to have a second happening of that. Belinda Librarian, if you are in the chat room, if you're listening to this, The Usual Suspects is coming our way. So hopefully you will join me for it. But I want to say that this is an important movie. We are going to be reviewing it in 2 weeks, folks. So get out there, watch The Usual Suspects. I know it's available on Netflix.
I think it's on Amazon. I mean, I actually bought it on iTunes years ago when I had a job that during lunch break, I literally just watched my iPod. I'd watch like half of a movie, then watch the next half the next day, just because I had nothing in common with any of those people there. So,
you might as well watch awesome movies. So
absolutely,
get out there and do it, folks. I mean, watch The Usual Suspects. We're gonna spoil the crap out of it in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have something to
Prime, and it's even cheap on DVD. Should you want to go so far as get it cheap?
This weekend, Belinda Librarian and I were going to watch a movie together with my kids. Shaolin Soccer. And,
Shaolin Soccer, thumbs up.
Yep. I've not seen it yet because I was going to watch it with my kids. I wanted to watch a dubbed version, and the dubbed versions were not available on streaming, but they are available on DVD. So I ordered the DVD. Oh my God, the previews for this movie look absolutely hilarious.
I don't like it as much as I like the next movie,
which
Kung Fu Hustle.
Okay.
Which is his next movie, but I did like it a lot.
Okay. Well, I mean, Kung Fu Hustle may have to happen as a part of this as well. So anyway, the point is being that get your hands on The Usual Suspects. We're going to be reviewing it on the Painting with Men with John movie club in 2 weeks. So there you go. You've been warned. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about a movie called a video game called Destiny. This is the latest hotness from Bungie, the people that brought you the Halo series. And as many of you know, they kind of broke the Halo series, went over to Microsoft Studios, and they broke away, and they're making a new movie. Why do I keep on calling it a movie? Can someone help me with that? They're going to make a new video game called Destiny. And it is all the hotness on the interwebs. The beta, John, has just broken loose. And I know you're not the biggest fan of the video games, but I'm a pretty big fan of it. I got and bought into the beta, which is usually a bad idea, but in this case, turned out pretty good. It is I've played through the first mission that gets you to sort of this area where it's almost like a multiplayer zone where you've got a lobby of players that are kind of walking around, milling around, doing their thing, and the controls are like butter. This is a beta, and the controls are amazing. The graphics are beautiful. It is it's a first-person shooter, so it's got a lot of first-person shooter tropes and things like that. But the controls are very intuitive. I've played a lot of Borderlands 2, and I think a lot of people are panning it a little bit because they're saying, well, there's nothing different here. There's nothing different. It's just Borderlands 2 and this, that, and the other thing. Well, it's Borderlands 2 is pretty amazing. I want more of that. So it is, but what I think where the game is going to shine is going to be in this sort of hub area where you can join up with other players around the world and go off on missions together. Now, so long as it's not a bunch of 13-year-olds yelling penis, penis, penis in my ears, I will be very happy. If it turns out to be penis, penis, penis in my ear the whole time, I'm going to be very sad, and I'm going to rip this one a new one on the podcast. But anyway, so Destiny, the beta access is available if you pre-order the game, which is what I did. And I'd say I'm going to give it, so far, one shot of Kraken.
All right, fair enough.
John, you saw some movies this weekend, and you saw District 13. What's it called?
District 13 Ultimatum, which is the sequel to District B13, which I reviewed on the week you were off for July 4th.
That's right.
On the Facebook page.
Okay, so tell us more about the Ultimatum here.
It's the direct sequel to District B13.
Okay.
It's a French action movie. It is subtitled, but
Okay.
as an old anime guy, I don't mind subtitling.
Sure.
It's very basic. It's got a solid story for an action movie. No, nothing great. They keep it tight. They keep it like, here's the story. Here's the intro, as usual. It's almost the same notes as the first one. Just you don't have to introduce the two main characters to each other because they know each other.
Sure.
It's like, hey, here's the one main character if you haven't seen the first movie. Hey, here's the other main character, both doing what they normally do.
Yep.
And then stuff happens, and it's kind of political, but not sickeningly so. It is French, so it's French political. So actually, it does strike a little bit of chords with those of us in America because honestly, they have a very similar political system to us over there, or overall basic political system to us.
Did anyone surrender during the movie?
No.
Okay. No surrendering. Okay, that's encouraging.
And it's got a lot of parkour because the one guy in it is one of the inventors of parkour. It was very good. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's got good action and good parkour stunts. It's that French style of action like the Transporter and all.
Yeah.
Where there are a lot of kicks that make you go, oh damn, that looks like it hurt. Like I said, it's a simple story. A little bit see-through at parts, a little bit telegraphed, a little bit of stereotype with some of the guys, but
sure.
It was very good. I'd give it 1.5 to 2 shots of Kraken, somewhere in that area. Probably 2. It's not quite as good as the first one, but it's definitely worth watching. And like the first one, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like maybe an hour and 45 minutes long at most, and it's once you get the story going, it's just tons of action, some great fights, and some very interesting moments.
Very cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to definitely give that a shot. I mean, I haven't.
Make sure you watch the first one first, District B13. That one is like head and shoulders better. It's basically Brick Mansions that was released in the U.S. earlier this year, but
I definitely need to kind of keep an eye out for that one and take a look at those.
They're both Amazon Prime for free.
Nice.
Yeah.
While I have a chance here, I do need to give a shout out to Tin Man XL because he is with us here in the in the chat room tonight. And frankly, John, without Tin Man XL, there would be no Painting with Ben with John because he is the godfather of video podcasting, and I want to give a shout out to the man that deserves a shout out, and that's Tin Man XL. For those of you who have not seen his channel, look up Steam Powered TV. He is the godfather of putting bat reps on. I also want to let you know that there is a recent upload of his that shows Tin Man and I playing an epic game at Kingdom Con. We had a great time. I don't know which one he's got up there because I won one from him because his dice, Dice Rage is his thing. And his dice straight up left the building. They left the building. They went to Washington State from San Diego. They were so far away. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Tim Maxell. I wanted to thank him for being here because he's really always been an inspiration for me, and he does great work. And I want to encourage all of you to check out his stuff on the internet. I think he's on the YouTubes these days, so check it out on Steam Powered TV.
And just to interject, Wonky Kong wants to know what you're playing Destiny on.
I'm playing it on a PS4.
Oh, PS4. There you go, Wonky Kong.
And
PS4.
for all of you
Looks
who
like
are,
they're on the computer.
if all of you are hearing my name, hearing my voice here this evening, if you want to link up with me on the PS4, I am Menoth John. Big shock.
Whoa.
Big shock. I mean, don't try to fall
Madness.
out of your chair on the PS4. So add me. Give me a friend request. Because
There you go.
if you're hearing my voice, that means you're a Brushhead, and that means I want to be friends with you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a little movie I watched last night, John.
Excellent.
I watched a Jack Black movie last night. I watched Nacho Libre. Nacho Libre.
Normally, I would say that would be a mistake, but it sounds like you enjoyed this one.
I did. Nacho Libre is the follow-up for the for Jared Hess and Jerusha Hess, I guess as their names, from the Napoleon Dynamite fame.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what's funny is that I've got 1 degree of separation from these fellas, because when I was working for Multimeal in Utah, Jared and Jerusha are actually from Preston, Idaho, which is where Napoleon Dynamite takes place. And Nacho Libre was their follow-up to Napoleon Dynamite. So it is a fun movie. You know, you have to go into this movie knowing that you're watching a basically a Napoleon Dynamite movie. And then when you see how Jack Black acts in this movie, you won't be absolutely ready to throw your fist through the television. Because he plays it. It is a very Napoleon Dynamite-esque sort of aesthetic to it. The movie takes place, Jack Black plays a what appears to be like a Franciscan friar who grows up in this orphans. It's kind of an orphanage, and he is there to cook for the monks and also to cook for the kids. But along the way, he becomes a fan of the luchadors, and he kind of idolizes them and stuff. And on one of his pickups for charity food, he gets attacked and has the nachos are stolen from him. This restaurant puts their excess nachos that they can't sell that day out for the orphans, and he gets attacked by this guy, and these two become friends, and they become wrestling buddies. So that is where Nacho Libre comes from, and his sort of hero's journey as he goes from friar to wrestler. And it is very family friendly. My 8-year-old, my 11-year-old were both watching it with me, and they laughed and they had a great time. It's very over the top, kind of cartoonish acting and things like that. There's one character that is inspiring him to find the power of the eagle, and Belinda Librarian and I could have sworn it was the same guy that plays the Hound from Game of Thrones, and it wasn't, but it sure looked like him, even though he looked really familiar. So if you would like to see someone who looks like the Hound but isn't, and is in a fun movie about Mexican wrestlers, I'm going to give Nacho Libre 2 shots of Kraken, because it is a couple shots of Kraken is only going to make it a little bit funnier. So, what about you, John? You got any other movies you want to talk to us about?
Speaking of movies that you need to be in the right mood for and understand what you're getting into,
Yep.
after the ATC, we sat and watched Sci-Fi Channel, and the second movie that came on there was Drive Angry.
Drive Angry, you say?
Yes, with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God. Nick, you listening to this, Carl Morgan? You listening?
Let us just say that this movie and physics, they've heard of each other, but they don't really communicate or really acknowledge the existence of each other.
They're not talking. They're not talking anymore.
No, God, no. And they set the ground rules real quick in this movie. And we saw it on Sci-Fi Channel, so it was no curse words, which is bad. Like, a couple of them were done well, but honestly, if you're going to see the movie, you really want to see it rated R.
Okay.
Um, I loved it. It was great. William Fichtner, who's one of those guys,
Okay.
he's been in like Black Hawk Down and uh, Armageddon. He's just one of those guys you'll notice, like, oh, that guy.
Yep. Exactly.
He plays one of the protagonists or one of the antagonists, the accountant, and he's very good in it. He's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed his role in it. It's totally over the top. It has a scene that's almost defies description. It's Nicolas Cage,
Okay.
almost fully clothed, banging a woman with a cigar, his sunglasses on, a bottle of Jack in one hand, and a pistol in the other as he shoots people.
What?
You have to see that. Yeah, exactly. You're like, what's going on? That was the exact moment I realized exactly what kind of movie this was. I'm like, oh, they're not even going for even the tiniest bit of, okay, I see what they're doing. It's like a send up of all those, crazy badass guy kind of movies.
Gotcha.
It's got a very simple plot.
Almost like a blaxploitation movie with white guys.
Exactly. It is. You don't take this movie seriously, and you will enjoy the heck out of it. I loved it. Banian mentions that this movie and that physics has a restraining order against this movie. That's sort of
That's awesome.
the relationship they have.
Way to go, Banian. That's a better joke than how you played.
Oh, actually, he did pretty good. He did 4-1.
Banian. I'm sorry. Wrong name. I'm sorry. Never mind. Sorry, Banian. Collateral damage, Banian. Collateral damage.
But I enjoyed the heck out of it. I suggest anyone who gets a chance. I wouldn't pay a lot of money, but it is definitely on my $5 DVD list.
Nice.
If I saw it for $5, I'd be like, I'll pick that up. That could get some good times.
Nice.
Just don't expect highfalutin movie.
No.
It totally is not a work of art in that way.
Outstanding.
It's a good time. It's amazing. I give it as many shots of Kraken as you want, but at least 2.
At least 2? Just to kind of get you into the spirit.
Yeah, get you into the spirit. But as many as you want, you will enjoy it plenty.
Very nice. Drive Angry. I gotta look that one up. That one sounds like it's good times. Where's that available? Is that strictly on DVD, or is that are there some
I have not, like I said, I haven't checked because I actually saw it on Sci-Fi Channel. Which, hey, Sci-Fi coming through. Apparently the motel we had enough to have Sci-Fi Channel.
Hey, Sci-Fi brought us Sharknado, buddy.
And I saw a million commercials for Sharknado too. Funny note is that the best Yelp review they found for the motel we were in was, well, it's one step up from being homeless.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, AC spit out ice cubes. It was super cool, and we had Wi-Fi and TV, which is better than everyone who was upstairs, like Hacksaw and our other group. So hey, thumbs up for me.
Woohoo! You guys won.
It was worse for $40.
All right. Well, last thing I think we're going to talk about on the show tonight here is just a real quick mention for a board game that I played. A lot of you have already played it. I actually purchased it. I've had it on iPad for a little while, but I also purchased the board game to play with my sister was in town doing a bunch of work around the house and stuff like that with us, and it is Lords of Waterdeep. And Lords of Waterdeep is an amazing worker placement game. Also got the Scoundrels and something or other expansion. It is actually 2 expansions in one box. I highly recommend this game. It is a wonderful game. I've played it with my 8-year-old, and it is tedious with him at best. Even though the mechanics are extremely easy, it is a game that requires decision making, and the game becomes harder to tolerate if you don't have people with you that can make a decision. So I highly recommend Lords of Waterdeep. I think it is a fantastic game. It's deep. It's replayable. I would give it 1 shot of Kraken, or maybe less. It is a game that right now, frankly, if I had anybody else here at the house with me, I'd say, let's play Lords of Waterdeep. But that's how much I enjoy it. But it is, make sure you got people around you that can make a decision. Because if you have a lot of people who are prone to analysis paralysis, let's say, it's going to be tedious at best. So, Lords of Waterdeep, check it out at your local game store. John, do you have any other games or movies you want to recommend to the Brushheads yet tonight?
I'm going to throw out one more thing. No review on it, but I checked it out on YouTube a long time ago, but I finally started watching it hardcore on Amazon Prime. Red versus Blue. So funny.
The Blood Gulch Chronicles.
Yeah, I've gotten all through all of them. I'm up to like season 6 now.
Nice.
They're bite-sized, but movie-sized. You can just stop and walk away. Give it a look.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. Some various good. I've watched some of it. So, oh God, Zosha said I'm on her TV. That's great. I finally looked at my phone. I'm so sorry for your TV, Zosha. So, Red versus Blue. I've watched it myself. Rooster Teeth is a fantastic producer. Good stuff. Some good machinima. What do they call that? Machinima, I guess.
Machinima, yeah.
So, good stuff there. John, we are long, but we are not at 2 hours.
Not quite.
Not quite. So I'm going to pot up the music here a little bit. I think we're getting close to the end here of another Painting with Menoth, John. Let's see what we got here.
Yep. Remember to like us on Facebook, and if you haven't voted already in the ATC Challenge, vote for Rhett, Mercs, or Other, which right now is mostly Circle, but I'm thinking about maybe picking up some Pharaoh / Minions in general, so give me a vote.
That's right. Let's let us know there, man. Use that Facebook page at facebook.com/Painting with Menoth, John, I think.
That's
so
the one.
Get out there and like us. Tweet at us at Menoth John. Use that hashtag flippity bloop. Don't be a twit.
Remember, if I gotta play it for the ATC, I'm gonna have to test it some, which means you will get all sorts of battle reports for that.
That's right. You're gonna get his.
I'm not playing cricks. No cricks.
You're gonna get his full attention, which sounds bad for his opponents. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the co-host, the host, Mr. John Spencer, and me, I'm Menoth John. I'm wearing my jokey shirt. Have a wonderful week. And we're going to see you right here next Sunday on the Sunday night extravaganza. This is Painting with Menoth John. Have a wonderful week.
Some happy little trees. There are no limits here.